This is the Troll live with Justin Freakin.
Well, shit, he was on time. I don't think any of us saw that coming, so let's hurry up and get this shindig on the road. Here's your meme of the day when you were talking mad shit, but 100 dudes actually pull up. I still think, I'm 100% convinced, a gorilla would take 100 human men. There's been a debate that's been going on between chuds on Twitter. They're all convinced that 100 men could apply enough force to a gorilla to take him down. I am certain that not a single one of those 100 men could do anything to harm the gorilla, and that 100 of them can't attack it together the same time, and that if they get in close to the gorilla's just going to smack the shit out of them. The gorilla wins every time. 100 dudes would die against a gorilla. The gal with a plan, welcome in. So glad to have you. We're here early because we're going to cover the Trump speech in Michigan, actually on time, starting right at 6 o'clock. So this is just a little bit. And I'm proud to be an American. I'll give you a little taste of it, even though I can't give it to you because of the copyright. And I'll gladly stand up. Do go look up Proud to be a Canadian. Same exact song. Because this motherfucker is a grifter. Which is fitting, right? For President Grifter. Look at him dance. It was getting down to the slow part, right? The bridge and the second verse is coming, or the refrain is coming back in right now. And defend her still today. We're getting to the end. I just want to watch him dance. He's giving a speech now. 100 days in office.
Wow. Hello.
He is the least popular man to ever hold the office. Holiday, Princess Kimberly, Warlord, welcome in. I am not high enough for this shit.
We love you, Michigan. We love you. We just had the biggest victory in Michigan. They said, sir, it's going to be hard. Well, we won it twice.
Lost it once, though.
We actually won it 3 times. You want to really know it?
No, you didn't.
But I'm thrilled to be back in this beautiful state. I love this state. Got a lot of auto jobs coming. Watch what's happening. The companies are coming in by the
Not what I heard.
tens. You got to see what's happening.
By the tens.
You all want to come back to Michigan and build cars again. You know why? Because of our tax and tariff policy. They're coming from all over the world. They're coming up and they're opening up plants and they're talking to us all day and all night. They want to get here and they're coming.
They're eating the pets.
Levels you've never seen before. And I want to thank the auto workers for your support. That was great.
By the way, Gretchen Whitmer sucked his ass earlier in the day.
State with thousands of
That should be disqualifying for her plans for the presidency in 2028. Like who? Name them. Stephen Miller?
Any president in history and everyone.
Fox News commentators?
We've just gotten started. You haven't even seen anything yet. It's all just kicking in.
My highness hasn't kicked in. Light one up, tip one back.
Immigration. We're taking back our jobs and protecting our great American auto workers and all of our workers, frankly. We're protecting all of our workers. We're restoring the rule of law, which was sort of out the window with this crazy guy we had. How the hell did that guy ever become president? Could somebody explain?
Oh, man.
How the hell did...
The criminal talk about the rule of law and how
There's my friend.
somebody else became...
For Trump. I like that guy. He follows me.
There's this African American.
Follows.
He's followed him for like 10 years now. It's true.
We love you. Your whole group has been so supportive over the years. I want to thank you. Everyone thinks I pay you a fortune. I don't know. I don't even know who the hell he is. I just like him. So, thank you very much. Thank all of the fellas. Thank them all. But we're ending the inflation nightmare, the worst that we've had probably in the history of our country, getting woke lunacy and transgender insanity the hell out of our government. We're stopping the indoctrination of our children, slashing billions and billions of dollars of waste, fraud, and abuse. And above all, we're saving the American dream. We're making America great again, and it's happening fast, too.
Americans in the chat, do you feel great right now?
This in the past 14 weeks is a revolution of common sense. That's all it is, really. We're conservative.
Markov, welcome in. It's hard.
Well, whatever the hell. You know what it's all about? It's about common sense when you think about it. We're for common sense. We like strong borders. We like good education. We like low interest rates. We like being...
But to be honest, doing this allows me not to have to do prep for the show and get off early. So that's why we're doing it.
Strong military. We want low taxes. You know, the Democrats, they campaign on, we will raise your taxes. It's the first time. You know, I haven't been doing this that long, actually, compared to a lot of people. They've been doing it for a long time. They say, you became president. I can't get out of Congress, or some of them can't even get into Congress. But, you know, I haven't been doing it that long, but all my life I've been watching.
He's been teasing running for president since the 80s, by the way. He hasn't been doing it that long.
Reduce your taxes, Democrat, Republican. Now they go, we're going to raise your taxes. If our bill doesn't pass, the Republicans, we have 100% just about Republican support, but it would be nice if we had just a couple of...
Oh yeah, Gal, welcome over to the Twitch side.
Once in a while you have a grandstander Republican. We have some grandstanders, but every once in a while, not many, but remember who those grandstanders were and vote them the hell out of office, okay? Will you do that? Vote them out of office. You know, they do it they're morally bound. You know what the answer is? If you don't get it, you're going to have the highest tax increase in history instead of the greatest tax cut in history. If the Democrats prevail on this bill, you get a 58% tax increase. Would you like that?
No, not a single person in that room that you're speaking to. Well, maybe some of your advisors. Nobody's seen a 58%.
Raise your taxes. I say, this country has gone crazy. And today they did it again. Some guy that I'd never heard of. John James, is he a congressman, this guy? He said, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to start the impeachment of Donald Trump. What the hell did I do? Here we go again. They want to impeach me.
What haven't you done, you pedophile rapist?
This lunatic, he was up. Actually, I had the television way down, and I said to our great First Lady, listen, did I just hear I was being impeached again?
Well, we know you're lying. Melania wasn't there with you.
They've gone totally crazy. These people, and you know what? They've totally lost their confidence, too. They can't even tell a lunatic like this dumb guy that said it. And then you have
shit.
It's always with the cane. He's always...
It's a good question. Was it Ivanka he was talking about? Meaty Winch, welcome in.
Always their peaches. But they have no control over those people.
The teachers of peaches.
No control, and the reason is they've lost their confidence. They have no confidence anymore as a party. They have no candidates. And you know, when they say that Bernie's probably the best they have. By the way, he's about 7 years older than me, more. 8 years older.
Far more competent.
One thing I got to give him credit, he's a lunatic, but he's still pretty sharp. And he's going around with AOC +3. You know, the +3 follow him. They hang on for little bits. They hang on for nuggets.
The +3.
And they get crowds. They say, our crowds are so much bigger than their crowds. Their crowds are small. If I ever had a crowd like their biggest crowd, they'd say it's over for Trump. He's lost the magic.
What?
This is great, and all the people outside, we love you. We put screens up. We're taking back...
Trump was not drawing the crowds that he was drawing in 2016 on this last campaign.
America dry. We don't let that happen anymore. And we had 4 great years. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. The stock market went up 88%. We did great. And we're going to do better now, because now we're really...
You killed the stock market.
After years of leaders who said...
It is the worst performing stock market in the first 100 days of presidency ever.
But not for ourselves. You finally have a president...
He lost his dick privileges.
...and our nation.
I imagine Ving Rhames in Pulp Fiction. You've lost your dick privileges.
Decades of politicians who destroyed Detroit to build up Beijing, you finally have a champion for workers in the White House, and instead of putting China first, I'm putting Michigan first, and I'm putting America first. After a lifetime...
Not high enough for this shit.
Democrats stealing your paychecks, attacking your values, and trampling your freedoms, we are stopping their gravy train, ending their power trip, and telling thousands of corrupt, incompetent, and unnecessary deep state bureaucrats, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. You're fired. Get out of here. In 100 days, we have delivered the most profound change in Washington in nearly 100 years. I read
I ain't lying about that.
That this is the most consequential presidency in history. How about that? And
They didn't say it was good consequences.
A group that would normally be supporting us. It was a group of people that I think they tend to be on the liberal side, but they said it's the most important election.
His makeup has been looking horrible for years.
But that is the most consequential election that we've ever had in our country.
Since he was in the White House the first time.
I'm going to start again subscribing to that particular paper. Even if I don't read it much, I'm going to subscribe. But it was a very nice compliment, especially from them. They know who I'm talking about. We're ushering out the long reign of...
I don't think they meant it as a compliment, sir.
...lunatics, and we're ushering in the golden age of America. That's what we have.
Come on, man.
Right?
He thinks we just fell out of a coconut tree.
Front row Joe.
You think you just fell out of a
Look
coconut
at you,
tree?
front row Joes. I miss you guys. I miss the campaign.
We know you do.
You've lost a couple of pounds. Oh, he's probably getting to one of those jabbers. You've lost a couple of pounds. You look good. And I have Mr. Wall here.
Did he call somebody out for being on Ozempic?
You've gone to. Like hundreds, and we love him here. The Wall. One day I'm going to get that suit and I'm going to wear it on stage. We appreciate it, fellas. Great. Thank you.
Looks like I'm poking the camera. It's because I am.
Group of ladies, I don't know if
There's a button that turns the light on. It's not coming on.
Carolina, a large group, like 50 of the most beautiful women, and
I tried.
to 129 rallies. They're happily married, I think, too. They just keep going to rallies all the time. But they're great. North Carolina, where we won by a big number.
I was trying to hug you.
Nowhere has this transformation been more dramatic than our southern border? You have seen a change on your southern border that Sleepy Joe said couldn't happen.
This dude, he fell asleep at the Pope's funeral just like days ago. What?
The last administration engineered a massive border.
It was like over the weekend.
Gangs, cartels, and terrorists to infiltrate our communities and rape
You're probably right, Flash.
our citizens, and that is being nice about it. That's actually being nice about it. They are the worst. But standing before you today, I can proudly report that this heinous betrayal is over and that we have achieved the most secure border in American history by far. In American history. For 2 months in a row, we have now set all-time records, and this is by the media, the fake news media, which most of it is fake. We've set all-time records for the lowest number of illegal border crossings ever.
Brother, I don't.
Think of that, ever recorded. The number
We're really having illegal border crossings
into
anyway.
the United States is down. Listen to this, please.
But the idea that we're turning away women and children that are fleeing violence in South America is just horrifying to me.
Think of that, 99.999.
I don't even think that's true, but I have not seen
3 people
crossing numbers.
3. And I got angry as hell at Tom Homan. How did you allow 3, Tom? I called up Christy. Christy Noem's doing a great job, Tom Home. I said, how did you allow 3 people? No, they allowed a few in for medical reasons. They had a couple of, were very sick. The ones that got in were really very sick, and we had to take care of them, but it was a few people. But 3 people got in versus hundreds of thousands in the last administration. Hundreds of thousands a month were pouring in. Biden had no control. Thank goodness he appointed a great border czar, right? Kamala. She was a great candidate. She was fantastic.
At least he's saying it right.
Joe Biden was down 35 points. The debate was not a good one for him. He said, if I didn't debate, I could have gone all the way. He was down 35 points, and they decided to replace him. Nothing ever happens. Like what happens to me, it never happens to anybody else.
Oh, that's true.
So he's down. This is like you're in a fight. Dana White, the UFC, you're in a fight, and you're just beating the guy so badly, and they say, let's put in another fighter. That's what happened. And I knew nothing about her. She was vice president, but nobody knew a damn thing about her. She had nothing to do with the border, even though she was appointed border czar. The great people, all of the great people, Paul and all of the border patrol people, they never spoke to her. They never heard about her for 4 years.
Who the fuck is Paul?
But there's never been such a difference in anything as the difference between the border today and the border what it was just 6 months ago. So I want to say congratulations, America. It's about time.
Congratulations, America.
The 2024 election. Oh, does that sound good, right? We won the 24. All that
Paul is the walrus.
The radical
Goo-goo-ka-choo.
Democrats would right now be importing the next 10 million invaders and giving amnesty to 30 or 40 million illegals, many of them criminals, many of them, frankly, murderers and people of crime at the absolute highest level.
People of crime at the absolute highest level.
It would only be a matter of years or months until America
said the literal convicted felon.
Third world nation. That was happening to us. We were going to be a third world nation. I'll tell you what, if these guys
said the adjudicated rapist.
Radical lunatics. And by the way, Biden, we find out that whoever operated the auto pen was the real president, and Biden knew nothing about it.
Trump has used auto pen numerous times while in the White House. Currently, this time.
Very, very smart people. These are not stupid people. These are sick people, but they're not stupid people. And they were very smart. What they're best at is cheating at election. They cheat on elections. That's their single greatest trait. They cheat like hell. And let me tell you, they tried to cheat on this election, but we made it too big to rig. Remember? Too big to rig. They tried.
I honestly think they cheated now.
Those numbers. I watched those numbers. We had Elon with us. Elon is a...
I really didn't want to wade into conspiracy theories or anything, but
Elon,
we've got the data now. It really looks like there was some tampering going on.
Elon Musk, and I'm watching the numbers in Pennsylvania, and we're winning so easily. Then all of a sudden it flatlined. And I said, I think they're cheating again. Look at this. What's going on? I think they're cheating again. And Elon looked at us. He goes, no. You're going to win. They just don't know it yet. And about 15 minutes later, we won. Sort of crazy. I'll never forget. You're going to win. They just don't know it yet. But you know what? We made it too big to rig. It was too big. Starting on day one, I deployed the U.S. military to defend our country from the invasion of our border. I shut down all migrant flights. Do you remember? When we're talking about people coming in, they're trying to deny it, okay? So people are flowing in. They say, no, I don't see any people. It's like, what's wrong? But then we saw airplanes going overhead. We said, what the hell?
Airplanes.
Doing big Boeing 757s were traveling right overhead, loaded up with people. I say, where the hell are those planes going? They were loaded up with migrants coming in illegally, flying in by plane, paid for by the U.S. government. I'll tell you, they are sick. Remember that day? That was the day we found out that not only do we have to defend it here, we have to defend it not only in the water, but we have to defend it in the air. The planes were going over us. I said, what the hell is that? I banned all welfare to illegals, and I signed an order that will end automatic citizenship for the children of illegal aliens. No citizenship. For years, Joe Biden and the media told us that stopping the flood of illegal immigration was absolutely impossible. He said it was impossible. He didn't know what the hell anybody was talking about. He said it was impossible that
They were airdropping illegals.
no power.
Cragwoods, welcome in.
What was needed in the form of legislation. He needed legislation. He had no power to get it. But it turned out that all we needed was a new president. Within days of taking office, I signed the Laken Riley Act. Laken Riley, beautiful Laken Riley, who was killed by an illegal immigrant, viciously, violently killed. But I signed the Laken Riley Act to facilitate the expulsion of dangerous criminal aliens, and when necessary, we had to put them in jail. We couldn't take a chance that they'd come back in again. In recent weeks, ICE, who are great, these people are great, has arrested dozens of child rapists along with murderers, kidnappers, drug traffickers, and thieves and
Literal child rapists
institutions. We've
saying that.
designated 6 murderous Mexican drug cartels as foreign terrorist organization. We have also designated 2 bloodthirsty transnational gangs, MS-13 and Trendiaragua, TDA. They've been designated the highest level of terrorists, and that lets us do a lot of things that you wouldn't be able to do. We got to get them out of here before they kill more people. They've killed plenty.
We're reporting out today that they have a checklist.
Arrests of known and suspected
It's mainly things like a Lionel Messi tattoo.
5%. Is that okay? We tried to get it higher. We tried to get it higher, but the courts are giving us a hard time. Can you believe? You know, I won on the basis of, I think the number one thing was on illegal immigration, the border, the people pouring across our border that are from all over the world. They're unbelievably bad.
Yes, apparently
In many cases.
Lionel Messi has his frog tattooed. If you have that frog tattoo, they call you Trendiaragua.
Say that, you know, that doesn't matter. I don't think it's going to be allowed to stand. Democrats have vowed mass invasion and mass migration. We are delivering mass deportation, and it's happening very fast. And the worst of the worst are being sent to a no-nonsense prison in El Salvador. Why don't you watch them?
Immigration officials link tattoos to gangs. Artists say that's wrong. Body art that people may have picked for style is being cited in deportation cases. What in the fuck is going on? Quesadilla, good evening. They're showing some sort of video package, but the camera is still trained on Trump. We're not seeing what the video package is, so this is making for. I know he was there for some sort of plane. They're going to be manufacturing some sort of plane in Michigan. That's what Gretchen Whitmer thanked him for. Oh, I'd love to know what the fuck is going on right now. It was some sort of fighter jet that they are going to be manufacturing in Michigan, and Gretchen Whitmore fucking glazed him over it. It was quite disgusting. We should disqualify her in 2028. So that's the reason he's in Michigan. They decided to throw this rally. I'm sure it appeases ego, like Flash said earlier. His poll numbers are dropping rapidly. So he needs to go out and get fellatioed by people. Not a bad beat. I could rap to that. If I had rapping skills, that is. I wouldn't doubt that we see more rallies as he is gearing up to do whatever the fuck he's going to do for 2028. This man is not going away. I mean, we heard worse shit from Coachella last night, so... You are all not patriots. You are virtue signaling idiots.
So under President Trump, America is a dumping ground for criminals no longer. They're not even trying to come in. But while we're fighting to protect Americans, the radical left Democrats, who are so bad for this country, are fighting to protect TDA, you just saw that, and MS-13 criminals, and you don't even know which is worse. But they are the top.
They're fighting to protect the Constitution.
Politicians did not raise one word of protest as American women and girls were raped and slaughtered by these monsters. They were raped and slaughtered by numbers that you don't even want to hear about.
It's called an emotive argument.
To deport them, the radical Democrat Party is racing to the defense of some of the most...
I mean, there's so many logical fallacies there. There's straw man, there's hasty generalization.
They're racing to the courts to help them, but this is not what the people want. This is not what they voted for in record numbers. I won the election. We won every swing.
In record numbers?
Popular vote. And we got 312 electoral college votes.
None of that was a record.
And just this month, 2 Venezuelan members of TDA, Trendiragua, were arrested in Washington State for kidnapping a 58-year-old woman driving a power drill through her hand to extort her bank account information, shooting her, leaving her for dead. And miraculously, she just survived, but she's not feeling so well.
It's absolutely Nazi propaganda.
A Trendiragua member in Chicago kidnapped 3 women, took them in an alley, lined them up, and shot them each in the head. They all died. And the FBI recently assessed that these vicious gangs have been sent by the foreign regime in Venezuela to foment violence and instability in the United States of America.
I don't think that's true at all.
And
they're doing a horrible job at it. Crime is down at historical lows.
Coming from the Congo. They come in from Africa. The Congo, they emptied out their prisons into our country. But they come from Africa, Asia, South America.
They're coming to America.
That's why we've invoked the...
They're coming to America.
Sorry. As quickly as possible.
You must not be a Neil Diamond fan.
Forget the same people that we now claim we're not, and we're just not taking this crap anymore. We can't.
I can't take this crap anymore.
We're not allowed to deport illegals. And they're the ones who orchestrated an 8-year campaign to jail their political opponents. Do you know what I mean? They want to jail.
Just somebody go ahead and ban Bobby coming in here asking about the Jews. You fucking anti-Semitic piece of shit.
And now they come after us. Why are you not nice to them? Why are you not nice to them? They tried to jail your president. They tried to jail. Except for the really courageousness of a few very good judges, you know, we could have been calling you from the other side of the bar saying, hey, fellas, how about a little protest? How about a little protest? But they cheered the assassination of CEOs, looted our city,
yes,
destroyed our property. No, they tried to jail our politicians, and they tried to jail...
Awesome job, Holiday.
Many of whom didn't even know what the hell they were being looked at for. These people are criminals. If they had their way, we would be living in a third world hellhole. That's what they want. Removing the invaders is not just a campaign pledge. It's my solemn duty as Commander-in-Chief. I have an obligation to do it. Save our country. And that's why we got, despite the fake polls, you know, they do these polls where they interview far more Democrats than I saw them over the last few days, and I had them checked out. They interview far more Democrats for the polls. They interview Democrats by big numbers. And
Or maybe you're just not popular, you piece of shit.
They say, Trump only has a 44% approval rating. Well, it's actually not bad. But when you figure that if it were a legit poll, it would be in the 60s or 70s. These people are a bunch of crooked people. No, they interview more Democrats than Republicans. In other words, they take the poll and they interview Democrats. They poll Democrats. And then they say, they try and depress it as much, just like they write bad stories. 97% of the stories written about me, think of it, were negative, and yet we won in a landslide because they have no credibility. And also
or it's because they don't read anything but propaganda or watch anything but propaganda.
Laws and assume the duties that belong solely to the President of the United States. Judges are trying to take away the power given to the President to keep our country safe, and it's not a good thing. But
judges are tasked with enforcing the law, interpreting the law, and not enforcing, interpreting the law, ruling on matters of the law, deciding what is constitutional.
Nothing will stop me in the mission to keep America safe again. It's very simple. Keep America safe again. And our first 100 days have also produced historic results in the battle to defeat Biden's inflation disaster and bring jobs and wealth back to America and bring them back to Michigan, okay? We want to bring them back. As an example, since I took office, the cost of eggs is down 87%. Now,
it is not. Eggs are up since he took office.
Before we heard about it, I heard about it a long time ago. Before Thanksgiving, I heard about it. And then I was hearing that I wasn't president. This guy was barely president. Nobody knew, was he president? Who the hell was president? To this day, I say it was the one that operated the auto pen, but what do I know? But I was hearing about eggs, and then all of a sudden we have a great election victory. And my first week in office, they start screaming at me, "What about the price of eggs? Eggs, eggs." I said, "I've only been here for 6 days. I was there 6 days." I said, "What's wrong with eggs?" They said, "The price of eggs has gone through the roof and you won't be able to have them for Easter." So I put our very capable...
So he imported a bunch of them.
Rollins, who's our wonderful Commissioner of Agriculture that you know in Michigan. I said, "Brooke, I've only been here 6 days before I heard, maybe even less, maybe 5, maybe 4. But it was my first week. And I said, "Brooke, you got to save me here. I'm getting killed about eggs. What the hell's going on with eggs?" She said, "Well, you can't get them. The price is through the roof, and it looks like we're going to have a real problem for Easter. You're not going to have eggs." I said, "Brooke, that doesn't sound politically viable to me. That doesn't sound good. Because nobody's going to believe me when you get out there that it's Sleepy Joe Biden's fault. So, Brooke, you got to get going, Brooke, please." And she did a great job. And you had so many eggs for Easter, and your price was down 87% from that point. Prices are coming way down. You know, the fake news doesn't say it. They said, he pledged. Now, I pledged safe borders. I pledged all sorts of things. But they said, he pledged to bring prices down. Well, that's what I've done. They're trying to say the prices have gone up.
They're down 44%.
Gasoline. And they have 3
but are going back up.
This week, a couple of days ago, that were $1.98.
This is the chart. This is the start of 2025.
Prices are down by a lot. Energy prices are down. Mortgage rates actually just went down.
Beef, cattle, all up.
Saw their largest monthly decline ever recorded. How about that?
Oh.
Remember what you heard.
No, egg prices have stabilized. They are not down.
Plunge. Ever since they've recorded the prices, which have basically gone up, except for my 4 years, they did pretty well. But we got to know that.
I just showed you the chart.
Bad system. But they just took the biggest dive ever in the history of prescription drug prices. Think of that. That's a big thing. I got to say it again and again because they will never tell you that. The fake news will never tell you that. Grocery prices have gone down. Everything's gone down. And
how is the
MSDNC, which I think is probably even worse than CNN. It's probably
how is the
probably worse than CNN. But
trading economics site? How is that left-wing propaganda?
Get jobs. I wouldn't hire them to do the most menial of chores. But I saw this person. He campaigned on bringing prices down. Every price has gone down. What am I going to do? I mean, think of it.
Prices are up drastically.
$4 not so long ago. And now, Mike, we just hit $1.98 in a lot of...
What? I know that's not true.
And you know what? And inflation is basically down. And interest rates came down despite the fact that I have a Fed person who's not really doing a good job. But I won't say that. I want to be very nice. I want to be very nice and respectful to the Fed. You're not supposed to criticize the Fed. You're supposed to let him do his own thing. But I know much more than he does about interest rates, believe me.
Jerome Powell is a Trump appointee.
And last month, we had the largest drop in consumer prices since the pandemic. This is all done in 100 days. Think of that. This is all done in 100 days. But when you watch the fake news, you see fake...
Apex, I don't think you're very smart, my friend. That's why we call right-wingers morons.
And Democrats aren't going to say, I'm going to vote for Trump. And we still got 45, 44%. But on the legitimate polls, I think we're in the 60s. I think we're in the 60s or 70s or something.
It was $3 when I was out riding around with Curiouser the other day.
In 3 months, we have created 350,000 jobs. Think of that. For the first time in recent memory, job gains for native-born Americans now exceed job gains for foreign workers. This is for the first time, and nobody even knows when, Americans now are doing better than foreign workers.
National average is 316 right now.
I want everyone to do well, but that's okay. And to curb inflation, we're cutting a record number of job killings.
Trail, welcome in.
We beat in the 4-year first administration, which was a tremendous success. We cut more regulations than any president in history, including 2-term presidents, including Roosevelt, who was more than a 2-term president. We cut more regulations than any president.
You're saying that like it's a good thing.
And now our second term. And, you know, I don't know why. It was so important to win because they used to say, the fake news, to be a great president, you have to serve 2 terms. So now we're going to serve 2 terms. Now they've taken that one. Cross. Right, Dr. Oz? Cross that one off.
Oh, he's got Dr. Oz with him.
No, they say it all the time. When I was out, they say, well, they go out.
Not only is he served 2 terms, he's twice impeached. We'll see if he can make it through this one.
Thank you. Sure. But we've ended the radical left. Well, we actually already served 3, but if you count. But
Apex, my friend, I just showed you a chart, and you said it was left-wing propaganda.
I just don't like the results of the middle term. The results.
You're accusing me of doing the thing you literally just did. That's why we call right-wingers morons.
We would have had this group for another year. We wouldn't have a country left. I really mean it. I don't think we would have had a country left. And now we're respected all over.
Dumbest fucks walking the planet.
Coming from all over the world to see you, President.
You think we're stupid?
They're coming from India. They're coming from France. They're coming from Spain. Yeah, they're coming from China, too. Yeah, they're coming from China. They're coming from all over the world to see you, President. They want to make a deal. They want to make a deal.
Oh, I got my lighter in my hand. I'm not high enough for this shit.
We are the ones that have the product. We are the ones that...
I'm not going to get that popcorn lung like all those other fools with their
I want
vapes.
to be respectful and I want to be nice. But if it takes too long, I'll just set a price. Say, you could buy or you don't have to buy. We lost, think of this, we lost billions and billions of dollars a day. Billions, not millions, billions of dollars a day. And under Sleepy Joe Biden. What's better, Crooked Joe or Sleepy Joe? Ready? A poll, a free poll. Because these pollsters are so corrupt. This is a real poll. We're going to poll Crooked Joe or Sleepy Joe. Ready? What's
Says the dude that fell asleep at the Pope's funeral and is the most corrupt politician, maybe of all time.
or Crooked Joe?
They call you Don the Con. Dude literally is a felon for committing fraud. Up here calling somebody else crooked.
Joe, you know, it just had a nice ring to it. Because he had one ability I didn't have. He goes to the beach, right? And he could fall asleep on a cottage drooling out of the side of his mouth. And he'd be sleeping within minutes. Carrying the aluminum chair, you know, the kind that's meant for old people and children to carry. It weighs like about 4 ounces. And he couldn't get his feet out of the sand. And he'd sleep, he'd fall on this thing, and he'd have, you know, he's president, so you'd have cameras. He'd be in a bathing suit. Somebody convinced him that he looks great in a bathing suit. He's 82 years old. Cary Grant didn't look great in a bathing suit when he was 82. You don't look great. You know, at some point you have other assets, okay? But that's not right. But he'd go and he'd walk in the sand and he'd fall into that thing, and within seconds he was sleeping. I'd be tossing and turning and scheming and thinking and saying, how am I going to beat China? How am I going to stop the war with Russia and Ukraine? This guy could fall asleep with cameras blazing, right? Not too many cameras were blazing, but enough were blazing that you saw it. I thought it was a great ability that he had, actually. We've ended the radical left war on American energy. We've stopped their crusade on coal. Did you see what I did the other day? Clean, beautiful coal. I said, you're not allowed to use the word coal unless you say clean, beautiful coal. So
What?
it's getting up. Department of Energy. We have great people at Department of Energy. They talk about clean, beautiful coal. You know, China uses coal. They're opening up a coal plant every week, a massive coal plant. But we're not allowed to use it. But now we are, because last week I gave it absolute, total approval. And you know what I don't give approval to? Those stupid windmills that go round and round and round. And we've ended the Green New scam. We've reopened Anwar, the greatest drilling site anywhere in the world, in Alaska, and implemented the new energy policy of the United States. You know what it is? We have a policy. It's called Drill, Baby, Drill. That's our policy. That's our policy, Michael, right?
Yeah, miners in West Virginia not too happy with him right now.
Good job. Him and Laura, they took the party by storm, right? He had a good candidate, but had a couple of good candidates, didn't he? Michael's been incredible, actually. Michael Watley, North Carolina. He watched in 2020. He did so good for me, and you know, he was in North Carolina. He did so great. What's the problem over there? What's the
I
problem?
want to live. Coal miners speak out as Trump strips away health protections.
He's just a child. All right, get him out. Yeah.
You're suffocating. You're suffocating. That's what's going to kill you. I got a wife and 2 kids and 2 grandbabies. You know, I want to live.
And she now has to go home to a mother who's a big Trump fan. Her mother's watching. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I said he, and it's a she. I'm sorry. To keep my promise to the great state of Michigan, I terminated Joe Biden's insane electric vehicle.
I mean, absolutely
We were
insane.
mandated to buy an electric vehicle.
But I mean, we've got dumbasses like Apex
with ginger.
who is like in the chat being shown facts and still
You know what?
shirking them.
Not everybody wants them. You
I
got
bet I could kick your fucking ass, you dumb fuck.
a powered car.
And look at you having to resort to threats of violence because you got proven wrong and you're
I'm
stupid.
already proudly.
That's you're fascist. You realize that, right?
All foreign automobiles, any foreign car, like they do to us. This
Or
is
get sad and pathetic.
jobs in this state and this country, and to help these automakers bring their factories home as rapidly as possible, I've just signed an executive order to give partial tariff rebates to any company that assembles its cars right here in the U.S. In other words, if they can't make it in time,
Partial tariff rebates.
otherwise they have it.
He doesn't know what a tariff is.
They took in parts from all over the world. I don't want that. I want them to make their parts here. But I gave them a little bit of time. It's 15% and then 10% of the parts, so it's not so bad. Somebody would say, oh, well, that's a change in parts. It's not. It's called a little flexibility. The guys were crying. They love it. Everything's good. But just in case we can't get everything in time, we gave them a little bit. So it's 15% of the parts, and then it's 10% of the parts. We give them a little time before we slaughter them if they don't do this.
He really does not know what a tariff is.
They're going to make so much money. They're going to
Because if they're manufacturing shit in America, then they don't pay tariffs.
No, but jobs are way up. Jobs are way up.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
By
Layoffs are way up.
do you know who that is? Of the auto workers for Trump. And Brian
Clinically, good evening.
guy loves the unions, loves everything.
Thank you for continuing to get the feds on me in my chat.
Brian, I got to see Brian. Look at the arms in this guy.
Buddy, you're not the master of trolls. I'm King Troll of the Internet.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Come kick my ass, you little bitch. You can't do shit.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a great honor to be here.
Why don't you call in after Trump gets done
Office of
speaking?
Your second term.
Stand toe-to-toe with me. Can you?
And I just want to remind you
Of course you can't. You're a little pussy.
your last rallies before the election. I've got
Look at this goober.
I've watched it dozens of times at home. After I was able to speak, I turned to you and I said, Mr. President, Macomb County is going to win Michigan for you. And that's exactly what happened. We had a margin of victory of 70,000 votes in this county alone. Thank you, Macomb County. You know, I met President Trump 8 years ago in Novi, and we had never met before. And as I was stepping towards him backstage to get my picture taken,
Hey, now, let's not criticize the handlebars.
15 seconds to say something to
No,
him.
to be fair, I've had mine for fucking 25
My son was
years.
standing behind me, so I've got a witness to this. And I said, Mr. Trump, we've got the keys to the White House waiting for you in Macomb County. And he kind of chuckled. He said, oh, yeah, how's that? And I said, well, Macomb County is the home of the Reagan Democrats. If you come to Macomb County and you ask for their support and you get it, you might win Macomb County big enough to carry the whole state of Michigan. And that's exactly what he did. So I want to say thank you to the auto workers, everybody who works in the automotive field.
Why do all Trump supporters look like this?
Truck drivers, thank you so much for supporting the greatest president in our lifetimes. Now, I've got a little business announcement I want to make. I hope the president doesn't mind. But when I was backstage with him earlier and got,
He's got a crypto coin.
I said, Mr. President, I've got a deal that you can't refuse. And he said, what's that? And I said, well, I'm writing a book, and it's going to be about my political journey. I've been involved in some things here in Michigan, conservative causes like right to work and the Michigan Civil Rights Initiative. And I said,
The what?
you have a publishing company, Winning Team Publishing. It's run by Don Jr. and his partner. I said, I'll agree to use your publishing company if you agree to write the foreword to my book. He
What?
stuck out his hand and said, I'll do it. That's how you negotiate with the best negotiator in the world. So listen, I got one last thing to say.
The book never is going to happen. Trump's never going to write a foreword.
2026 elections. It has to happen. Sri Thanadar, that lunatic Democrat from Detroit.
Yeah, Curiouser.
Threatening to impeach President Trump if they get the majority back.
You blow him and he never pays you. Yep, that's what
We've
happens.
got good people in Congress like Congressman John James over here who are stopping that from happening.
This is the rally marking 100 days
So we got to get
of
out.
Donald Trump.
We don't have any time to waste. We got to start talking to our friends, our neighbors, our family, our coworkers. The campaign for 2026 starts tomorrow. We've got to win that election. So the work is not over. The work has just begun. November 5th was not the end. It was the beginning of the golden age. And let's all tell President Trump how much we support what he's done the first 100 days in office.
Hello, welcome in.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. There's one other thing I wanted to say in front of all these thousands of people to President Trump. President Trump, I love you.
Gay.
That's great. Thank you. Good man. He's a
Oh,
good guy.
fuck.
He was with
What an emasculated little bitch.
2015, before 2016, he was there from day one. He got it. He said, we're losing our car industry. That's what he really cared about. He just said, I've had so many friends who were laid off. It's horrible. They lay us off like it's nothing. And the business went to China, it went to Japan, went to all countries all over the world. They're laying us off, sir.
I love you.
Solve that, I told him. We can solve that so fast. He's one of the early people that got it. And we've solved it. We're going to be doing numbers that nobody's ever believed. We'll be the number one in the world again. Nobody can believe it because we have been beaten up so badly by these countries that have rigged the whole thing. They fight like hell. They're smart. Their product is good, but our product's going to be a lot better. We're going to do something that nobody believes, and he saw it right at the beginning. So I appreciate it, Brian. And he was there at that. I love the guys from the beginning. I love those early guys. Those guys are right there. They were there from the beginning, too.
He pointed as African American.
You're already seeing them. Look, we have many Hondas coming in, and they're coming in. We let them build their cars here. We don't want them to build them in Japan. We love Japan. We don't want them building them in Japan. We want them to build them here. We want China to build them in here. We want them all to build them right in here. That's what they've done to us for 40 years, and they've drained us. Now we're doing it to them at a better level than they ever.
I'm scared of that, media winch.
Build the industrial bedrock of our country. I've imposed 25% tariffs on foreign aluminum and steel. It's keeping our steel mills going. I did that. If I didn't do that with steel in the my first term, we wouldn't have a steel mill in the United States right now. And
I wouldn't doubt they tried to declare some sort of martial law emergency order and suspend elections.
They were going to close.
Because these motherfuckers are fascist as shit. And they're going to lose.
50% tariff was going to raise it to 100%. They didn't even have to bother. They became a tremendously successful company overnight. They were ready to close. They came to me with tears in their eyes in my office early on, first term. And we're doing it now at levels never seen before, and the results are going to be even better, because we've been abused by friend and foe. And in many cases, friend has abused us more so than foe on trade.
Yes, the greatest country in the history of the world, the most powerful country, was getting fucked by everybody in trade deals.
Greatest job in the history of the world. China's taken more jobs from us than any country has ever taken from another country, and that doesn't mean we're not going to get along. We get along with China.
Yeah, he's testing it out, Flash.
Now is at 145%. So essentially, that's a big difference between that and zero. But I think it's going to work out. They want to make a deal, and we're going to make a deal, but it's going to be a fair deal. It's not going to be a deal that we lose $1 trillion a year like they did with Biden. That guy was so bad. He was so bad. Under Biden.
Come on, man.
And remember this. We were losing $5 billion a day on trade.
The fuck are you talking about?
Money. We're actually making money instead of... Do you know what $5 billion... Think of it. Mike, How many pillows do you have to make to lose $5 billion? You can make them for thousands.
Has he got my pillow there? No way.
$1 billion a year.
That was
Now
a
we've got
crack.
it where we're making money, and the tariffs haven't even really kicked in. The 25% on cars have. But you know what that means? That means that you're going to...
Minty, welcome in.
don't need the cars from outside. When they say, oh, sir, we want to send you a lot of cars, I said, we really don't want your cars. We really don't want. We want to make our own cars. That includes Canada. That includes Mexico, who have taken a tremendous amount of our business. Canada's taken off a tremendous, like 10, 12%. Mexico is 32%. They took 32% of our car production.
The courts are our only hopes,
We
and
want that.
like they've been
Giving it to them. Why are we
supplanted with
subsidizing
fucking
Canada
Federalist
for $1
Society
billion
ghouls,
a
so
year?
I don't
Why are
fucking
we
know.
subsidizing Mexico for
But even Amy Coney Barrett is growing a backbone, so who the fuck knows?
The president for the workers and not the outsourcers. The president who stands up for Main Street, not Wall Street.
This is the exact reason why they
I like Wall Street. I have
made Supreme Court justices
building on Wall
justices
Street,
for
Wall
life, so
Street,
they would be outside of
one
politics
space. I'll
and
get
do the right thing.
now. I've got one of the most beautiful buildings in the world on Wall Street, but I see
But we'll see.
your Main Street. I want Main Street over Wall Street, and we want to protect the middle class, not the political class. That's all. I haven't done this very long. We want
It
to
really did, Flash. I hope this.
protect our people.
I hope we get out of this without violence.
The
But fuck.
greatest- When you think about this, look, here we are. It's not even like election. It's after the election. And you have crowds like this, and to have them. We're going to do the commencement at University of Alabama. And they just called and they said, it's going to be the biggest crowd we've ever had we've never had a crowd like this. And I'm doing it at West Point, and they called and said the same thing. We love West Point. We love University of Alabama. We love Alabama. You know what I won Alabama by? Like almost 50 points. So when they called and they said, would you like to do the commencement?
I won the state with the lowest education rates
Crowd they
and the
ever
most
had. 4
racism.
or 5 times they told me, thanks for all of the things that we've done and to our policies. Trillions of dollars are now pouring into the United States because of common sense, just common sense. Apple, great company, was building everything in China. Now they just announced that they're spending $500 billion to invest in America, not in China.
Is that true?
Jensen from NVIDIA, they're spending, you know what NVIDIA is? They're spending $500 billion. TSMC, the biggest chip maker in the world by far from Taiwan, they're spending $200 billion in the United States. Amazon, $21 billion. Johnson & Johnson, $55 billion. The Mac, $20 billion. Merck, Stellantis, General Motors are putting in billions and billions of dollars, and many other companies. And as a result of our policies, for the first time in modern history, more Americans believe that
Apparently, Apple is indeed
direction than the wrong.
investing half $1 trillion.
Crazy poll, probably a fake poll too, so I don't know, I don't care. But first time ever, I think ever, that they're saying the country is headed in the right direction.
They announced it in February, so I don't know that it had anything to do with Trump.
But we've accomplished more in 3 months than most administrations accomplished in 4
This probably is a direct result of goddamn
Just getting started.
the American Recovery Act
Be joined by some great,
and the CHIPS Act. It probably has nothing to do with fucking Trump.
so much confidence in him. The fake news is after him, really after him, but he's a tough cookie. They don't know how tough he is, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. Pete.
Trump endorsement has actually been not always a loser, but I mean like 65% of the time. It says they're expanding some factories, Krill. Now, this is a press release.
How are the Houthis doing? Not too good, right? Yeah, our new administrator of the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services.
Building a new factory in Texas and doubling advanced
It
manufacturing.
was a big success, but sometimes it hurts your image to have a television show He's the top.
Expanding facilities in Michigan, Texas, California, Arizona, Nevada, Iowa, Oregon, North Carolina, and Washington. But as I said,
University of Pennsylvania Medical School, top student, top.
I don't think that the Apple thing sounds like this probably came from the CHIPS Act.
Also a big star, Dr. Mehmet Oz. Dr. Oz, thank you, Doctor.
Fucking Dr. Oz.
Thank you.
He's
a man
kicking
who
authority in the
waited
balls.
today just came here. He was all sweaty and grimy.
They said they're using them for AI
Ran
and
into
chip
the building because
manufacturing.
He wanted to vote in Congress, and I hear we passed the vote, John James, by a lot, right? And thank you for making it here. He had a vote. I said, John, do me a favor, stay and vote. We're voting essentially on the big, beautiful, that gorgeous, big, beautiful bill. I said, I want you there badly, but you got to.
What was it, $30 for crudité? We haven't even bought the wine.
Michigan House Speaker Matt Hall. Matt, thank you.
I saw a sign in the grocery store for crudité the other day. That's all I could think about was goddamn fucking Dr. Oz.
Thank you very much. Michigan GOP Chair Jim Runstead. Thank you, Jim. Good job. Nice tie.
Nice tie.
Jim, great job. One of my favorite people.
Georgie, welcome in. Yes,
Success,
this is the Trump 100 days speech.
2020, and then this guy came in, and they didn't steal him from his state, North Carolina, I told you. But they didn't steal him. He had 601 lawyers, and he had lawyers at every voting booth. And I said, who is that guy that did so well?
Stick around. We're going to be covering Mark Carney's speech from last night. A very big surprise from the Canadian election that's hilarious.
But this guy did.
Hilarious.
Michael Whatley, North Carolina, and now he's the head of the Republican Party, RNC, and he's great. And I must.
Members of the Progressive Caucus.
My daughter
staged a protest for the release of.
Who's got a very successful television show. That was a tremendous combination.
Moshe Madawi.
Also the great, and you see him on television. He's unbelievable. Hey, Stephen, come up here fast.
Workers are striking in California. Arrests have been made.
Where is Stephen? Come here, Stephen. I love this guy. I love this guy.
So we be finding out what that news be doing.
There is nobody
shortly after we wrap up with this
or tougher
100-day celebration. Here is honest-to-God white nationalist Stephen Miller.
Who's enjoying 100 golden days of America?
Not too many people, that's for fucking sure.
Trump has achieved the most secure border in America.
Lenny, welcome in.
He's fighting violent crime. He's fighting the drug cartels. He's cutting your taxes. He's cutting wasteful spending. He's draining the swamp. He's standing up to the radical.
He sounds like his balls haven't even dropped yet.
And he's making America stronger than it's ever been. President Trump will never stop fighting for you, your children, and your family. And President Trump will make sure that in this country, not illegal aliens, not criminals, not gangbangers, but American citizens come first, last, and always. Thank you. And thank you.
First, last, and always.
President in American history.
Ew.
He's great. This guy.
No, he's not.
Something special. And he's been with us right from day one. Right from day one, Stephen's been there, right? He's been great. A man who put on about 9.
It's like a Joe Biden term, gangbangers.
We didn't have a glitch. Justin Caparel. Justin, thank you wherever you are.
I thought he was talking to me there for a second.
It's working.
I was like, what?
We did over 900 of these. Thank you, Justin. And Margo.
You're welcome, Trumpy.
No, Margo, beautiful Margo. I call her the world's.
Ironic, welcome in.
Where is
somebody clip that? I'm gonna go grab that.
And she's very shy, actually. She's both beautiful and shy. Thank you. Where? Margo, come up here, Margo. Come up.
I gotta have Trump telling me thank you.
The most beautiful. Now, look, I'm not allowed to say this. It's the end of my political career, but I'm going to say it anyway. She's the most beautiful photographer in the world. I don't know if she's the best.
Julie, welcome in.
The most beautiful. We
got Julie, we got Byronic here. Light one up, tip one back.
Trump 2028, anybody?
We got Avalon, all the cool people here.
And how about Caroline? How's Caroline doing?
That's not funny.
How is our Caroline doing? Caroline
And just
is taking
the
the world by
hypocrisy.
storm.
If Obama had said something like that, the right-wing media would have gone nuts.
I don't know, but he's defending me all the time on CNN. And he defends me really well, but he can't go too far because if he goes too far, he'll get fired. I said, you're amazing. You can take it right to the edge. And he really does a good job. He's not allowed to go any further. He would be off, if he really went totally crazy, which he'd like to do. But I think he's terrific. Scott Jennings.
What?
Where's Scott?
Is that the guy that won Jeopardy?
Come here, Scott. This guy, really, I've watched him for years. I don't know him, but he likes Trump. Come here, Scott.
The chud on
This is the
CNN.
end of Scott. No, who cares? Don't worry, we'll take care of you, Scott. Scott Jennings, really great.
Oh, when they have their little panel show. This is the dipshit.
Michigan. We were flying in here today, and I said, look at these farms. I got to get a farm in Michigan. Because
Didn't they have to kick him off the air because he said something to Mehdi?
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Scott.
Like, isn't he the dude that made the pager joke to Mehdi Hassan?
Republican delegation for all the work they do in Congress and who are back in Washington working on the big, beautiful bill. We're going
Oh, that was another piece of shit that looked a lot like that.
In 100
Okay.
days, I've taken more than 1,000 executive actions, and I could
Just looked a lot like him.
all night long. And by the way, did you just see what I did? Straws. I wiped out the paper straw. Little thing. These are the little things. Your sink. You ever try buying a new sink and no water comes out? Your shower heads, your toilets. The whole
What?
thing, it's a disaster.
Never happened to me, no.
So you can have as much water as you want because it's not an environmental problem. You have areas they can't get rid of their water, and yet they put restrictors on them. You used to take them off, but now you can't because they're welded in. But now you don't have to worry about that because we've opened up your faucets and we've opened up, especially.
I seriously can't get my light to turn on. Hold on, I'm going to open the curtains.
Drip, drip onto my luxuriant hair. I need a lot of water. I need everything I can get. I don't need to be under a shower trying to.
He really does not like low flow heads on showers.
So we've opened up the shower heads, the faucets, the toilets, the washing machines that don't give you water. All of that stuff has been opened up, and we're giving you gas ovens, gas stoves, if you'd like. No more electric. You can have electric if you want. I have a lot of friends, they like gas better. You're supposed to sell your gas stove or get it, I don't know, who do you sell it to? Maybe another country, because we're the only country.
He released like one of the reserves in California.
The stoves now, you can have gas stoves.
That was used for farmers in the summer.
Yeah, less. It's all common sense. People were so angry about that. Remember? They were all angry. Get rid of your gas stove. You have to go to electric. There's something they have with electric that's amazing. And by the way, Elon makes a great car, but not everybody's going to want it. You know, they all say, oh.
Poor Elon. He lasted longer than I thought he would, though.
Under the thumb of Elon. Do you think Elon was happy about ending the all-electric mandate? I don't think he was too happy, but he's a great guy. You know, honestly, never said a thing. He says, let me just compete fairly. By the way, it's not fair what they've done to him, too. That is a disgrace. That is a disgrace.
What, who did to him?
Great guy.
No, he's not.
He's really helped us. And, you know, they've saved $150 billion on waste, fraud.
No, they haven't.
So we want to thank him. He's an incredible guy. Anybody that can land a rocket ship. I saw this thing
Well,
coming.
this is his 100-day speech.
Coming in. You know, most of them.
This is the 100th day in office.
But he lands it. I was on the phone with somebody talking, and I saw this thing coming in. It's spinning out of control, coming down. It's all burning. It's on fire. Looks like hell. I said, well, just another rocket going into the ocean. And then all of a sudden, you see the fire pouring out of the engines, and it starts to slow up, slow. Then it's straight. Then it starts moving over a little bit. Then I say, oh, no, it's hitting the gantry. It's going to hit. And the engines go, rah, straightens it out. And it gets hugged like you hug your beautiful little baby, right? And I said, who the hell did that? It was Elon. And he told me, you don't have a space program if you have to drop $1 billion machine into the water every time you fly. You have to
What?
suckers. So he does. He's an amazing guy, and he's a great American.
He has dropped so much fucking debris into the ocean.
And he's paid a big price to help, but I have a feeling it's going to end up being good for him, actually. I really do. I established the new Presidential Commission to Make America Healthy Again, chaired by our new Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He's doing a good job, Dr. Oz, right? He's doing a good job. And he's a little bit different, but I want to tell you, he's a great guy. He's a great guy, and he loves this country. Just last week, Bobby announced that we're banning 8 major artificial dyes from our food supply. Sounds good to me. And on day one, I created that right now, very successful Department of Government Efficiency headed by Elon. That was a big thing doing that. I mean, the numbers are really incredible. Doge. So it was a very big thing. We terminated...
To be fair, some of the rockets don't make it to the ocean before they blow up.
USAID. How about the money that was going out? How about the money that was going out? Billions and billions. They were giving individual people billions of dollars. Can you?
No, they weren't.
That had nothing. They got $1 billion. One got $2 billion.
What?
$2 billion for the environment. Had $100 in the bank. You got $2 billion. Not $2 million. You know, $2 million would have been a lot. 200,000 would have been a lot, but it would have been fine. $2 billion. And we directed all federal workers to return to the office in person, or unfortunately, they're fired. You're fired.
What?
You know,
I can't keep up.
Handicap way down during the so-called time where they're supposed to be working at home. You know,
Wait, he got his golf handicap down? Is that what he just said?
At home. They're terrible. And we found a lot of them where they had second jobs. They were just taking us for a ride. They're all taking us for a ride. The foreign countries were really taking us for a ride, both on military and on trade. But we stopped it, and we're stopping it. I withdrew from the unfair and ridiculous Paris Climate Accord, where we were paying trillions of dollars. We would have spent numbers like you wouldn't believe, and China wouldn't have spent anything. Russia
to deluge, to flood the zone. You can't keep up with it. Yeah.
We spent over $1 trillion. I withdrew from the corrupt World Health Organization, where we were paying $400.
That's why critical thinking skills are so important, because then you don't get taken by bullshit like this.
A population quite a bit larger than ours, thank you. The problem with us, we have no idea what size our population. They allowed so many on under Biden. But let's assume it's 325 million. China's 1.4 billion. We were paying $470 million. And China was paying $39 million. And China was running the whole show. So I said, no, thank you. I withdrew. They offered me to sign up at $39 million. I still said no because it was sort of scammy. I didn't like it. And Biden came back in, and he signed up. And they knew we could have signed up for $39 million or less. He came back in, and he signed up for the same as what they were paying before, almost $500 million. Now, that's a lot of money, but it's nothing compared to the trillions of dollars that they waste. But that's the way it is. They know they can sign up for less. They don't even care. It's like they don't.
I don't even fucking know what he's talking about now.
A $450
I am
million
so lost.
Difference. But they came up right in the first week. He said, no, we're going right back in. Okay, I can understand that. But you go.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. I was trying to keep up.
They signed up for $472 million. And I withdrew from the anti-American UN Human Rights Council.
Signed up for what?
Disgusting.
Removed us from the UN Human Rights Council.
The administration has brought home 46 American hostages and citizens detained abroad. We paid nothing. We don't pay. We don't pay. You know, if you pay, those kidnappings go way up. We don't pay. Every time Biden brought people back, he'd pay $6 billion. $6 billion. $6 billion. 3 times they brought back 3 hostages. Oh, how?
Who in the fuck is he talking about?
Pay $6 billion. Wait a minute. For 3 people, $6 billion. $6 billion dollars.
I do the news every night. I do not remember anything like that happening.
No idea. Honestly, grossly incompetent, stupid people.
No, fucking Flash. He's rambling about shit. I had no idea what he's talking
A
about.
matter of weeks than Biden brought home in years. And he paid a fortune and we paid nothing. We got Mexico to turn over 29
Exactly. I have no idea. This is
in their country.
I don't know what China signed up for.
And we're charging
He said he removed us from the UN Human Rights Council. Yeah, that sucks.
big tariffs because
Biden paying $6 billion for people like that is not a thing that happened.
country. They're paying a lot of money for that. And because
I think he said we paid $6 billion for 3.
within
There's no way. It's probably maybe that's the cost of the operations to bring them back, or unfreezing Iranian assets possibly.
I got to know them. I got to know those families very well. They're devastated during the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan and brought him home.
Once again, trying to fact check Trump is
We got the guy that did it.
impossible.
For years, but we got him. It took us to get him. We got him in the first month. Brought him home to face justice. And it was that gross incompetence that probably led Putin to go in and attack Ukraine, because they were never going to. That was never going to happen. If I were
Face Justin.
The Ukraine-Russia war would have never, ever happened.
Come on, Apex.
We
Face
ended
Justin.
The weaponization of law enforcement and fired Joe Biden's handpicked. These are pro-crime U.S. attorneys, except if it's a political person like me. You know, I was under investigation more than the late, great Alphonse Capone. Al Capone was the greatest gangster of them all. If he had dinner with you, and if he didn't like you, you were dead. You were a dead person. You'd be under a foundation somewhere in a nice big
Tier 2, welcome in.
center going up. And I spent far more time under investigation than Alphonse Capone. How about that? You like that? I didn't like that. I didn't like it. We removed senior FBI officials who were corrupt and misdirected the resources they sent to SWAT teams after grandmothers and J6 hostages, what they did to those J6 hostages. And they did nothing to the people that took over Portland and took over Seattle. They literally took over a big portion of Seattle.
First of all, there were mass arrests in Portland and Seattle.
You remember that disaster where they said, no, this is a peaceful rally. The CNN lunatic anchor, the guy has about the personality of an ant. This is not a man meant for television.
Yeah, there were right-wing agitators.
The rally is quite peaceful. Then he got hit with a brick or something.
He did not.
And over his shoulder, the entire skyline of Minneapolis was burning. You remember that one? The entire skyline was burning. And I have to be careful because that gentleman right there, one of
the group that was prosecuted for burning down the Minneapolis Police Department
Mike Lindell,
was the right-wing Boogaloo Boys.
A better purchaser. He comes from Minnesota. No, congratulations. He's the greatest purchaser of ads in history. If
Here we
he
go.
bought my ads, I could have 10 times more ads on. There's never been
ads
station that doesn't have a pillow ad in. But he's great, and he's doing great, and he's got a beautiful new wife and all that stuff, and I'm proud of you. Look at him holding hands. They're still holding hands. I'm very proud of it. That's nice. Usually by this time, and a lot of people I know, Mike, by this time it's over. It's over. Look at you holding hands. I love that. I saw that. I pardoned hundreds of political prisoners who had been grossly mistreated. We created a brand new DOJ task force.
No, you pardoned
Christian bias. It's a big problem.
Pedophiles and violent criminals.
Clearances of the disgraced intelligence agents who lied about Hunter Biden's laptop from hell. Remember the laptop from hell? Remember the laptop from hell?
Come on, man.
When you had the 51 agents, they said...
I've asked a million times what was on that laptop I'm supposed to give a shit about.
Russia did everything. Russia did it. And it was all like horrible, disgusting stuff. You hadn't seen the worst of it, but it truly is the laptop. By the way, a very brilliant reporter for the New York Post wrote a book called...
Lev Parnas
you ought to read that book.
Testified that the allegations against
the facts, okay?
the Bidens are false and spread by the Kremlin.
The great
because he's the one that did it.
He wrote an amazing book, actually, The Laptop from Hell. We also terminated the clearances of the Biden crime family and Joe Biden himself because he's corrupt. And I banned all government censorship and restored free speech in America. We have free speech. We didn't have free speech.
We didn't have free speech.
Did all of the lawless so-called...
We didn't have free speech until Trump came in and started revoking people's visas,
entire federal government,
arresting people for protesting.
And I made it the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
I mean, there are, but there's like a whole spectrum between those 2 points.
This was the easiest one I had. I banned men from competing in women's sports.
Men weren't competing in women's sports.
You know,
Women were.
That's an 80-20 issue. No, that's about a 97-3 issue.
This, if I hear 80-20 one more goddamn time.
Puberty blockers and other chemical and surgical... Right? All these mutilations of our minor youth, I banned it all. I signed executive orders to abolish critical race theory and transgender insanity from our schools and from our military. We fired the woke boards of visitors at our military academies. We have great people running our military academies now. And I've directed the reinstatement of patriots expelled from our military by the Biden vaccine mandate with full back pay. After years of missed targets, our military suddenly has the best recruiting numbers in 30 years. Every branch is setting records. Don't think of that. 6 months ago, you and I were reading that nobody wanted to join the military, right? Now, we've just set a record.
I feel like about 6 months ago is when I started seeing
we have a waiting list
recruitment going up
that want to go into our military. And we have a waiting list, including for police and firefighters, because our country has spirit again. We have spirit. Our country has great spirit again. Last month, I signed a historic executive order to begin the process of eliminating the federal department.
That's what I was thinking, Minty.
And send education back to Michigan. We're going to send it back.
I feel like it was about this time last year, maybe over the summer.
We're going to send it back to our states to run. I mean, how the hell bad can we do? We're like in last place.
And that's, I would assume it was because of the bad job market that people were joining the military again.
Man, by the way, is doing a phenomenal job. And I signed an order making English the official language of the United States of America. I ordered the release
I don't like that at all.
of files related to the assassinations of Presidents John F. Kennedy,
No, you didn't.
Kennedy, and Martin Luther King Jr.
You didn't do shit.
They're all out there.
No, they aren't.
And I made myself very unpopular in Mexico by renaming the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. And we are restoring the name of a great president, William McKinley, to Mount McKinley in Alaska. He's a very good president. And you Italians are going to love me.
You Italians.
I brought back Columbus Day in America, especially for Italian Americans who were so badly treated by its removal.
What?
I also signed an order to require proof of citizenship to vote in American elections. That was easy.
He never set foot on soil, and he died a criminal.
Think of it. Why would they want no voter ID?
And he wouldn't admit that he wasn't in
Why would they want to have
India.
No proof of citizenship. We don't want it. We trust everybody. No, they want to cheat. That's all they want to do. Think of that. No voter ID. In Michigan, you must never allow ranked choice voting to be here.
Like, wasn't he expelled from Italy or some shit? Or that was Spain that he was selling for?
14 weeks. That's remember that. 100 days. We've done all of the things that I named and a lot more. And we're counting, and it's going to be better. Wait till you see the results of some of the things that we're doing. In the coming weeks and months,
he is still in campaign mode.
Tax cuts in American history, and that will include no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. It's called the One Big Beautiful Bill, and it will be the biggest bill ever passed.
Well, also, they're
It will include
going to go past 2028.
regulation cuts, military supremacy, and just about everything else. We will cut more than $1 trillion in wasteful and unnecessary spending. And in the next fiscal year, it'll all be done. We're going to have something that you won't even believe. We will end inflation, slash prices. We've already ended inflation, raise wages, and give you...
Inflation is projected to grow.
It's already happening.
That's why the Fed isn't cutting rates.
The average family's take-home pay will be at least $5,000 more than it was just a couple of months ago. We will always protect Medicare and Social.
Hey guys, we're gonna get $5,000 more a month than what we were just a couple months ago.
For those great people that are in need. House Republicans are working to invest more money in Medicaid than we spend today. The only thing we're going to cut is the corruption and the crooks that take advantage of some of the illegal schemes. So we want to preserve Medicaid for the most vulnerable, for our kids, pregnant women, the poor, and disabled Americans. We will fully and permanently secure our border. We will make the largest ever investment in U.S. military and build the Golden Dome missile defense shield. That's
Oh yeah, I forgot about that shit.
We live a long and beautiful life. It's going to be made in Michigan, and it's going to be made right here.
Reagan tried that shit, called it Star
An
Wars.
hour ago, I just made a speech at Selfridge Air Force Air National Guard Base, announcing that we are saving it, keeping it open, including thousands of jobs with the brand new state-of-the-art F-15s, which are coming to Selfridge. And we will crush violent crime and give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect they so dearly deserve. I will defend religious liberty, and I will defend the right to keep and bear arms. We will celebrate the 250th anniversary of America's founding in 2026, and we will teach our children to love our country, honor our history, and always respect our great American flag. And one day soon, American astronauts will plant the flag on the planet Mars. That's going to happen very soon. Every single day of my administration will continue to live by the motto, promises made, and you've seen it before, promises kept. From Marquette to Midland, from Mackinac to Saginaw, and from Lansing to right here in Macomb County, we stand on the shoulders of red-blooded Michigan patriots. What great people. I love you, Michigan. Who laid the railroads, worked the factories, tilled the field, forged the steel, fought the battles, and won the victories that built the Motor City and made this state into the pride of the America Midwest. And you know what? We're going to make it better than it ever was. It's already happening. You see what's happening. Michigan is the state that gave us the assembly line, Motown, Ford, General Motors, Chrysler, and put the world behind the wheel of an automobile. And under our leadership, we are making it greater every single day, and the automobile business in Michigan will soon, and it's going to happen really soon, it's already happening. They're signing left and right because of my taxation and tariff policies, which are policies of common sense and genius, be bigger and stronger and better than ever before. It's going to get better than ever before, and it won't even be close. Companies will be pouring back into Michigan. It was hardworking patriots like you who built this country. And on November 5th, 2024, it was hardworking patriots like you who saved our country. So thanks to your help, your love, and your support, after 100 days back in the White House, America is a free, proud, and sovereign nation once more. And our magnificent destiny is closer than ever before. It's closer than ever before. You have no idea how close it is. Our golden age has only just begun. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never back down. We will never, ever surrender. We will fight, 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 and we will win, win, win. Together, we will make...
Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down.
We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America
Sure, pal.
strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. I love you, Michigan.
Incredibly painful. Sorry. Hold on. I wanna try something here. Go back to dancing for me. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's alright to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN.
All worse.
See how Trump dances to it.
Wicked sick aesthetic.
Not high enough for this shit.
I guess I gotta thank Matt Walsh for introducing me to JustinFREAKIN.
Hey there, y'all. We're about to get stupid, locked into what that news be doing. Fu Manchu and a slick bandana, colder than ice, smoother than Santana.
Did I go back a little too far?
Video, chat, and calls. Right-wing nut job. What you wanna watch? Hey, what you think? And there's only one choice. It's JustinFREAKIN.
The guy's, he's a formidable voice in the call.
Light one up and tip one back.
Come on, dance for us, Trump.
Let's grab a snack. It's fucking news, quit panic, attack, and play your
Cool South.
Okay, all right. So why don't you tell us what it takes to be a man?
Well, I don't know. I'm in Alabama and I'll fuck a man in a dress. Why won't you fuck a man in a dress? Are you that insecure that you won't fuck a man in a dress?
That's fantastic. So you're okay with that, right?
Yeah. Why wouldn't I?
Good.
Right-wingers are morons.
Light one in and tip one back. One more click before we hit the set an alert when that shit goes live. Social fucking support and hit subscribe. Light one up and take a hit. He does no harm, but it takes no shit. He's the last one standing when the ship is sinking. Let's take another rip for JustinFREAKIN.
What was playing? Was it YMCA? Is that what he's dancing to? I'm JustinFREAKIN.
Not high.
I am not high enough for this shit. I might do it, Frag. I might have to make that video. Oh shit, so that was Trump marking his 100th day in office. Meanwhile, a man assuming office for the first time after being elected, Prime Minister Mark Carney, winning election last night. You're not going to believe what else I'm going to tell you about last night's election. Here is his victory speech vowing to fight Donald Trump.
Bonsoir. Oh, quel bonsoir. C'est un bon bonsoir. I have a question. Who's ready? Who's ready? Who's ready to stand up for Canada with me? You know, I chose to enter politics because I felt we needed big changes in this country. But big changes guided by strong Canadian values. And those include three values that I want to highlight this evening. Humility. It's Canada after all. Ambition. It's Canada after all. And unity. It's Canada. Humility is also about recognizing that one of the responsibilities of government is to prepare for the worst, not hope for the best. As I've been warning for months, America wants our land, our resources, our water, our country. Never. But these are not idle threats. President Trump
we know,
is trying to break us so that America can own us. That will never ever happen. But we also must recognize the reality that our world has fundamentally changed. I began with humility But Canadians are ambitious. And now, more than ever, it is a time for ambition. It is a time to be bold, to meet this crisis with overwhelming positive force of a united Canada. Because we are going to build, baby, build. Throughout our history, there have been turning points when the world's fortunes were in the balance. That was the case at the start of the Second World War, just as it was at the end of the Cold War. And each time, Canada chose to step up, to assert ourselves as a free, sovereign, and ambitious nation, to lead the path of democracy and freedom, and, because we are Canadian, to do so with compassion and generosity. We are once again at one of those hinge moments of history. Our old relationship with the United States, a relationship based...
Joseph was in here last night, was definitely talking about building the wall.
...is over. The system of open global trade, anchored by the United States, a system...
I got my eye on this guy. What's going on with him?
World War, a system that, while not perfect, has helped...
Looking awful shady over there. Sus, as the kids say.
...is over. These are tragedies, but it's also our new reality. We are over the shock of the American betrayal, but we should never forget the lessons.
But you're going to take us forward.
We have to look out for ourselves, and above all, we have to take care of each other. When I sit down with President Trump, it will be to discuss the future economic and security relationship between two sovereign nations. And it will be with our full knowledge that we have many...
That dude is insane.
In the United States.
Like the Malaysian that's never been in the United States, but somehow is a United States political commentator.
Because this is Canada, and we decide what happens here. We will need to think big and act bigger. Your phone's ringing.
I'll get it. Nous sommes UN Canada Fort.
It's okay.
Oh, probably Nous sommes un Canada Fort.
We will need
to be fair, this was probably like 3 o'clock in the morning last night. 2 o'clock.
In generations. The point is that we can give ourselves...
He had still not stepped onto the stage at 1 o'clock when I got off.
But even given that, I want to be clear. The coming days and months will be challenging, and they will call for some sacrifices. But we will share those sacrifices.
The Canadians actually thought it was rousing.
And our businesses. Canada is more than a nation. We are, and we always will be, a confederation, a sacred set of ideas and ideals built on practical foundations. That we know we're not always perfect, but we always strive to be good. We do things because they're right, not because they're easy. That we see kindness as a virtue, not as a weakness. Most importantly, we know that our strength lies in our resolve to work together as a country. It relies on our unity. United over our history, we have done hard, seemingly impossible things.
Yeah, politics is supposed to be boring.
One nation in harsh conditions.
I like to go back to it being boring.
Hostile neighbor. Yes, they have form on this, the Americans. United, we have confronted our own power.
Not exactly my best interest.
And now, in the face of this crisis, united, we are buying Canadian. We are exploring everything this country has to offer. We are supporting our friends and neighbors in the crosshairs of President Trump through a crisis that we did not create. United, we will win this trade war and build the strongest economy in the G7, an economy that works for everyone. Together, we will build a Canada worthy of our values. We will build Canada strong, Canada free.
I still followed politics when it was boring.
Canada, thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
I don't know. Politics in the U.S. have been pretty upended. That is Mark Carney, the now elected Prime Minister. He won his seat. The first election he ever won was last night for his seat in Parliament. He is the party leader. Therefore, he will remain Prime Minister. What's really funny coming out of the election in Canada last night is that had the Conservatives won a majority in Parliament, Pierre Poilievre would have been Prime Minister. Pierre Poilievre holding a seat in Parliament, lost his seat in Parliament last night. Canada's Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre loses his own seat in election collapse. The remarkable campaign was upended by a backlash against U.S. President Donald Trump, which sparked a stunning liberal resurgence. The Liberals falling 3 seats short of the majority in Parliament. They are projected to win 169 seats. Nice. You needed 172 to form a majority government. They're going to have to partner with the NDP or the Blick in order to form a government. Canada's Conservative leader lost his own seat in Monday's election to cap off a stunning electoral meltdown that saw the Liberal Party rise from the polling doldrums to secure victory. Pierre Poilievre, who faced off against Mark Carney and the incumbent center-left Liberals, lost his seat. The NDP were the French gibberish. I'm going to be honest with you. While I might have been doing that for comedic effect, I think that was actually close to what they were saying, as far as I could tell. Oh, I would assume it'd be the NDP, but they only need 3 seats. Did the Greens win 3 seats? They could form it with the Greens. Canada's Conservative leader lost his own seat in Monday's election to cap off a stunning electoral meltdown that saw the Liberal parties rise from the polling doldrums to secure victory. Pierre Poilievre faced off against Mark Carney and the incumbent center-left Liberals, who lost his seat in rural Ottawa to Liberal candidate Bruce Fanjoy. Poilievre first won the seat in 2004 and has held it for 2 decades. Now, if that is not a repudiation of conservative politics, I don't know what is. Despite the massive swing against him in Carleton, he signaled to supporters Tuesday morning that he would stay on as leader of the Conservatives, though at that point CBC had not yet projected his defeat. It will be an honor to continue to fight for you and be a champion for your cause as we go forward, he said. At the end of 2024, Poilievre was tipped to be Canada's next leader, up 25 points over unpopular then Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, but a remarkable campaign cycle dominated by U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs and inflammatory rhetoric about making Canada the 51st American state, along with Trudeau's resignation and the rapid rise of former banking chief Carney, triggered a swift reversal of fortunes. Poilievre had previously embraced some Trump-style policies, such as cutting foreign aid and defunding state media, and the Liberals sought to portray him as aligned with the controversial U.S. president. He is the first major party leader to be unseated at an election since 1993, when then Prime Minister Kim Campbell of the Progressive Conservatives lost her seat in an electoral bloodbath. During Carney's victory speech, when a supporter yelled out, "Bruce!" the Prime Minister replied that he was looking forward to working with Bruce Fanjoy. Pierre Poilievre. Sorry about your damn luck, son. But as I said, the Liberals fell just shy of the 172 seats they needed to form a majority government. The vote counting agency Elections Canada finished processing nearly all ballots in an election that could leave the Liberals just 3 seats shy of a majority. Recounts are expected in some districts, so it's still possible they win the majority. It's still possible that they're 4 or 5 seats short. The Liberal Party seemed likely to find the extra votes necessary to pass legislation, but it was not clear whether they would come from the Progressive Party, which backed the Liberals under former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, or from a separatist party from French-speaking Quebec. That's the Bloc de la Bloc. Carney's rival populist conservative leader Pierre Poilievre was in the lead until U.S. President Donald Trump took aim at Canada. The Liberals are projected to win 169 seats of Parliament's 343 seats, while the Conservatives were projected to win 144. The separatist Bloc de la Bloc Party was expected to finish with 22 seats. The Progressive New Democrats with 7, and the Greens with 1. So I guess it would probably come from the New Democrats. The Greens only have the 1 seat. Elections Canada said 68.5% of eligible voters cast ballots in the federal election, and it's the highest turnout since '93. Bloc de la Bloc. I just like saying it. I'm sorry. Let's bring it back to the U.S., shall we? Senators held a presser earlier today. Remember, we are back in session with Congress now. Senators are raising questions about Pete Hegseth's leadership. Pete Hegseth got a shout out from Trump during his speech earlier in Michigan.
The Women, Peace, and Security effort at the Department of Defense.
That's hilarious. That is fucking hilarious. Pete Hegseth tweeted out that he canceled this department that fucking Trump started. It's one of those community notes for all time. Just fucking amazing. Fucking amazing. This morning, I proudly ended the Women, Peace, and Security program inside the Department of Defense. WPS is yet another woke, divisive, social justice Biden initiative.
Come on, man.
The Women, Peace, and Security Act was passed in 2017 during the first Trump administration and had significant support from Trumpers. These are the dumbest people walking the planet. And they're in charge of our fucking government.
Hegseth said this morning that he discontinued the Women, Peace, and Security effort at the Department of Defense. What he doesn't understand is that this is a law that Congress passed. It gives us tremendous advantage. The combatant commanders are all very supportive of it. We know that in a conflict with China, that our ability to engage women gives us a tremendous advantage over our adversary China and our other adversaries.
Well, I don't have any comments. I mean, I can't speak for everybody in the military, though I served in the United States Navy for 25 years. And when you put somebody who is clearly not up to this job, and by the way, it's one of the hardest jobs we have in the country, managing a $850 billion enterprise with millions of employees. This is what you get. You get chaos. You get, ridiculous mistakes. You get sharing of information with people that shouldn't have the information. So I'm not surprised.
Having a signal message is by itself not bad, but the question that I had was, and I don't have the answer to it yet, is were those done before the first advisory about the one that made everything public in the first place. So I don't have that information as to if he was doing it beforehand or if he continued to do it afterwards. I don't have that information yet.
It's just predictable. It was completely predictable based on
Senator Tim Kaine.
track record of poor judgment in leadership positions. This kind of stuff would happen. And so, you know, I hope to see some evidence of
I wish I had a Soros connection, Flash.
when, you know, he is firing his own staff, but then trying to blame the media for it. I mean, it just shows somebody who won't take responsibility for their actions. That's just classic juvenile behavior. So none of it is surprising, except that we should be shocked to see a Secretary of Defense behave in this way.
I didn't think he'd make it through last week, but apparently he did. That was Democrats from a presser earlier today. This is Democrats rallying for the release of Mohsen Madawi. That was the grad student of Indian descent that ICE picked up. Several Democratic lawmakers, including Pramil Jayapal and Bernie Sanders.
Deserving of due process. Let's hear it for Senator Van Hollen. Thank you so much for making time. Okay.
Senator Van Hollen.
I'm going to talk about another great man. My senior senator who's been crisscrossing this country, fighting for all of us.
And she's awesome. We watched her debate.
To so many of us in the crowd, my senior senator, Bernie!
She is the other senator from Vermont.
Well, let me thank Becca for helping to organize this event, for all of you for being out here today. It's hard for me to add anything to what...
Now, wait a minute, am I wrong on that one?
All of you know that Mr. Madawi...
Was she a congresswoman? We watched her debate in...
has lived in this country and in my own...
the last election cycle, but Bernie was the senator that was up for election.
Community there. In that decade, he has made many friends, he has built bridges, and he has used his voice to advocate for peace, justice, and dignity for Palestinians and Israelis.
And apparently Peter Welch is the other senator.
When Moses walked
I never even heard of this motherfucker.
office 2 weeks ago, for what was supposed to be the final step, think about this, the final step in his citizenship process. He's about to become a citizen of the United States. He followed all of the rules, he followed the law. But instead of completing the process, Mohsen was illegally detained. Armed, masked individuals in plain clothes arrested him, forced him into a car, and refused to provide any information as to where they were taking him or why or what would happen to him. This took place in the state of Vermont in the United States of America. Now, not only was this action cruel and inhumane, most importantly, it was illegal, it was unconstitutional. Mr. Madawi is a legal resident of the United States, and like all legal residents and citizens, he must be afforded due process under the law. Unbelievably, and it is quite unbelievable, Mr. Madawi, up until this moment, has not even been accused, let alone convicted of any crime. And yet, tonight he remains in a jail cell. It goes without saying that if the Trump administration has any shred of justice in it,
they don't.
Madawi must be released immediately.
They don't. They had no shred of justice.
Point as well.
They don't give a shit.
It's not just about Mohsen Madawi. It is about you and you and you. If you can pick up a legal resident off the streets, throw him into a car, and put them in jail without
yes.
due process, that could happen to you. You don't like what the Trump administration is doing? Maybe they will do that to you. You don't like what the fossil fuel industry is doing? Maybe they will go after you. So this is a moment in history where we have got to stand up against Trump's moving this country to authoritarianism, because that's what we're talking about. Too many people have fought and died to retain democracy and the rule of law in this country. And we will not allow Trump to trample on what those people fought and died for. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bernie.
Thank you so much, Senator Sanders. Thank you. We know how busy you are. We really appreciate all that you're doing for all of us.
Cover some other protests that went on today. Workers in L.A. L.A. County workers are striking. Apparently several arrests made by cops. This was the scene of the protest earlier. We don't have any sound, any reporting. Let me get a... These are county workers. Walked off the job yesterday. Are now on strike. The action comes as the county's largest union, SEIU Local 721, which represents more than 55,000 county workers in 36 of 38 departments, has been in contract negotiations with the county for months. The union contract for healthcare professionals, social workers, public works employees, custodians, and others expired in March. The union says the county has refused to bargain in good faith, has excessively outsourced contracts, kept wages stagnant, and retaliated against union employees, among other unfair labor practices. This is the workforce that got LA County through emergency after emergency. The January wildfires, public health emergencies, mental health emergencies, social services emergencies, and more. This is according to David Green, SEIU 721's president, who also has worked as a social worker for the county for 2 decades. That's why we have had it with the labor law violations and demand respect for our workers. The union says they have no choice but to now walk off the job. We are disappointed that the union is choosing to announce a work action that, if carried out, will affect residents and impact service delivery at a time of great public need, according to the chief executive office of the county. County blames significant budget issues on delaying ongoing contract negotiations. The county is facing unprecedented stresses on our budget, including a tentative $4 billion settlement of thousands of childhood sexual assault claims. Now, is that the fault of the fucking workers? Projected $2 billion that impacts related to the January wildfires and recovery, and potentially catastrophic loss of hundreds of millions or more in federal funding. That's what the county said in a statement. I am not seeing stories about their arrests, but I know that there have been arrests. Officials in LA County are threatening mass layoffs. Apparently, the county approved that $4 billion sex abuse settlement today, like just within like the last hour. But I'm not seeing anything about the arrests. You can see it on the Chiron there that it says striking workers were arrested during the protest. There were clashes with police. Oh, there it is. You can see least there. Looked like they had a protester pinned down, but I may have been wrong. There are one of the set of workers has like black shirts on. I might have been confusing them for cops. But ACAB towards the cops. Left fists up for the protesters. The striking workers, the unions. Notice how the cops deploy against the unions instead of standing in solidarity with them. Their union doesn't tell them to go stand with the workers. Or are you? I mean, you really don't have to be coy about it, Flash. People just be saying all kinds of shit to get the feds on me in the chat. At least one person is dead, one person hurt after a vehicle plowed into people in Newark, Delaware? Is there a Newark, Delaware? I was going to say Newark, New Jersey. Apparently this is University of Delaware at Newark. This happening within the last few hours.
NBC 10 News starts now.
We're following breaking news here on NBC 10 News at 7. Police in Newark, Delaware are on the scene investigating a serious crash.
Newark, I'm sorry.
Skyforce 10 flew along.
Not to be confused with Newark, New Jersey.
The scene stretched up the block, the whole incident causing travel problems for drivers in the area. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Fred Shropshire. Let's get right out to the scene to NBC 10's Aaron Baskerville, who is joining us live in Newark.
Bastardville?
What can you tell us?
Well, we're trying to figure out exactly what happened here.
Baskerville.
Yet we're hoping
that's a little better.
Sometime soon. Right now, we are near Main and Academy, near the campus of the University of Delaware. Behind me, as you can see, a heavy police presence.
Why is he whispering to me?
Is blocked off for about 3 or 4 blocks down there. I can tell you that some of the businesses are hard to get into. I can also tell you that we saw some emotional workers inside of some of these businesses as well. So that gives you just a kind of a brief glimpse of what's going on here. We do know there was some sort of serious accident with a car, we believe, running into several other cars, also hitting several pedestrians. But if you look down there, far down there, you see a bunch of law enforcement officials around a black kind of tent and tarp. We believe, especially we're not going to show you from our Skyforce 10, that there is a body behind that tent over there, and that's why they are keeping people away from there. But we do have some video from Skyforce 10. We know this happened a couple of hours ago. Once again, we are still waiting for that briefing, hopefully from police. But all we know that there was a serious accident here involving several pedestrians. I talked to a bunch of students from the University of Delaware out here off camera, because this is an area where students come frequently. There are a lot of restaurants and shops and businesses. Students telling me that they got at least 2 different alerts kind of warning them that this area is blocked off and to avoid this area. Also a warning of a serious accident, but no specific information whatsoever. So we're still trying to get the details of what led to this series of events, what led to the car crashing into several other cars and several pedestrians. And we
did they show the body though? They didn't.
We can come back out here live right now. We go back outside down there to where that tarp is. You can see officers. I'm from a distance, but they are picking up something over there. I don't know if that's a piece of evidence. Once again, it's hard for me to see, but they've been focused in that area for a while.
Looked like they stood the corpse up and put the body bag over it.
Several students
It's
flanked.
easier that way.
Many are upset. Many have come down here after their friends told them kind of what happened out here, and just kind of scared that others might have been in danger, making sure some of their friends are okay. But this is the scene here on Main Street, right off of campus. Once again, we're near Main and Academy, near the University of Delaware. And we had a chance to talk to someone on camera just a little while ago. We have another crew here who said they just heard a loud bang, a bunch of bangs. Maybe that's the car.
You bang, 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 and blame.
Emotional scene out here. We hope to have some more details shortly. But for now, we're live in Newark. Aaron Baskerville, NBC 10 News.
Aaron Bastardville. I'm horrible. Okay, there was apparently a wild police chase that happened last night in Philadelphia. Ended with an officer-involved shooting. And we have video of it that has been released today. Apparently they have some surveillance video that shows some of the chase.
But we began with new details developing tonight on a deadly police-involved shooting, starting with new footage provided to us before a police chase started. It happened last night in Crescentville. Police say 51-year-old Jerome Cooper identified as the suspect. I'm Jason Martinez.
I'm Sheba Russell. Philadelphia police initially responding to reports of a robbery at a public storage unit. That's on the 500 block of East Hunting Park Avenue in Juniata. Police say Cooper exchanged gunfire with a witness there and then sped off in a stolen Toyota Camry. And that's when the chase began. It continued for several miles, as you can see by this map here, before ending on the 4600 block of Roosevelt Boulevard in the Northeast. Cheyenne is covering the story for us tonight. Cheyenne, what are you learning?
Hey, Cheyenne.
Hi, Sheba. Well, a positive update from last night. That man who was shot and carjacked.
Why'd you say hi to Sheba but not me?
This is actually that storage facility that you just mentioned. The parking lot is where actually this chaotic scene of events began, but it ended over on Roosevelt Boulevard, where police shot and killed the suspect.
I think it's terrible what's going on with crime today, and you just have to be careful, you know.
Crime is at historically low levels. I'll say it again. Law Dog, welcome in.
It's just a tragedy.
It was a wild chase in Northeast Philadelphia last night, ending with police shooting and killing a carjacking suspect. This afternoon, he was identified as 51-year-old Jerome Cooper.
I live in the area, one block over from where all that happened from. A lot of us, especially seniors like us, we stay in.
Philly police say it began just before 7:15 last night at the public storage unit located in the 500 block of East Hunting Park Avenue. In this surveillance video obtained by Fox 29, you can see a man get out of the car, walk towards the fence, and appear to pull out a gun. According to police, the suspect shot a 32-year-old man in the stomach who is now in stable condition. Police also say a 29-year-old male witness exchanged gunfire with the suspect. The suspect then reportedly took off in the victim's gray Toyota Camry, speeding through several districts until he was spotted near 2nd Street and Cheltenham Avenue, beginning the pursuit.
On the 700 block of East Cheltenham, we do recover a FCC, and we believe at that point he
Seriously, Flash.
out of the car at pursuing officers.
Police say the chase continued until it ended at the 4600 block of Roosevelt.
How do you live through the 70s and 80s and think crime is worse now?
Center median and struck a tree near Langdon Street. Police say the suspect came out of the car, raised his gun in their direction, and that's when 7 officers shot the suspect multiple times. The suspect later died at the hospital, and no officers were injured.
Time and time again, that when there is danger, the men and women rise up in this department and go after those individuals who cause harm to our community.
He was shooting.
No, you're the individuals causing harm to the community most of the time.
Doing the job.
And we actually did reach out.
Lead gasoline is a good, yeah,
Say they had
Minty.
no comments on the shooting.
The big factor.
Did recover a gun at the scene, and also that 29-year-old who police say also fired shots. Right now they are calling him a witness, but they do tell us that that person is also under investigation. And as always with officer-involved shootings, all 7 of those police officers who fired their weapons, they are placed on administrative leave pending the investigation. But police do tell us that they were wearing their body-worn cameras as well as their dash cameras were activated. So Jason, we should get a clearer picture of what exactly happened. I'm live in Northeast Philadelphia. I'm Cheyenne Karen, Fox 29 News. Back to you.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Yeah, thank you, Cheyenne. Great job. Go up to New York, where I believe we have I think we have some security camera footage of a armed robbery at a bodega.
Afternoon with an alarming robbery in Brooklyn.
Take a look at this video from Bodega in Bed-Stuy. You can see men clearly wearing NYPD jackets, but none of them are officers. They posed as police, tied employees up, held them at gunpoint, and then robbed the store. Now, other bodega owners in New York City.
Bravo! Bravo!
A crime like this from happening again.
Eyewitness News reporter Darla.
They probably were police.
Die with the latest. Darla?
Sandra and David, obviously very troubling seeing those 4 suspects in NYPD raid jackets. That is what that is called.
Raid jackets.
Here at the store at the intersection of Marcus Garvey Boulevard and Willoughby in Bed-Stuy. We saw detectives go inside about an hour ago, and they are still inside conducting the investigation. I want to take you right to exclusive surveillance video we just obtained in the last hour here of Eyewitness News of the 4 men getting out of a gray minivan just before 8 o'clock Sunday morning. Surveillance video then from inside of the store shows suspects approaching the man at a deli refrigerator, forcing him down onto the ground and then dragging him in between the aisles. Police say 3 deli workers were inside at the time, a 40-year-old man, a 48-year-old man, and a 68-year-old man. They were all forced to the ground at gunpoint and zip-tied during this robbery. The suspects apparently inside of the deli for about 10 minutes, and they are last seen running out of the store with a large garbage bag believed to be full of lottery tickets and cash. And again, they are seen leaving that store in less than 10 minutes with a inside of a gray minivan.
They look official. They had like the insignia and everything.
Commissioner for Public Safety from the mayor's office, Kaz.
I bet you could order them offline.
Very troubling to see 4 suspects in the NYPD raid jackets.
Yes, it is. This is extremely alarming to us. This morning I was briefing the mayor.
This Hakeem Jeffries?
He's extremely concerned about this. This is something that we haven't seen before, where individuals wearing police apparel going into a bodegas.
Well, have you tried the cops? That'd be my first place to look.
We're happy that we are in a good place where we're going to be, bringing these individuals to justice very soon.
Is there an update on the investigation that you can share with us right now?
As of right now, no, but I can assure you that our detectives are working extremely hard. They've been working this case since last night. And we're very confident with the resolutions very soon as it's going to come out of this.
Cicero.
Deputy Mayor for Public Safety, Kaz Daughtry, here live on Eyewitness News, updating.
Can we see what their footwear is? Can we make that out from the video? That one's got tennis shoes on, doesn't he?
Case since last night.
That could be boots. That could be boots.
And we're very confident with the resolutions very soon as it's going to come out of this.
All right, thank you. Deputy Mayor for Public Safety, Kaz Daughtry, here live on Eyewitness News, updating on this very troubling robbery with men in NYPD raid jackets, carrying guns with a mask inside of a deli here in Bed-Stuy.
It looks like a beautiful day, but everybody's also got jackets on, so it must be a little chilly in New York.
About an hour, we're going to hear from the United Bodegas Association to speak out about this incident. They have been calling for panic buttons inside of the delis, and that right now they're going to renew that call. For now, reporting live in Bed-Stuy, Darla Miles, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Panic buttons inside the bodegas. Why? I mean, why not? Why wouldn't? I would have thought that would have been a practical thing. Remember a couple weeks back we had this is not what I thought it was. This was a crash, a ferry crash in Florida. This wasn't the incident I thought it was. There was a ferry crash in Florida possibly over the weekend.
Team coverage as the investigation into this ferry crash.
My lighter died last night while we were watching Coachella or something. I had to go grab another one. I always got a little bit of life left in it.
Unfolds.
Lenny Sue Paul talked with family members of the man who died, but let's begin with Nicole Rogers and what the attorney for the man who was operating the other boat is saying tonight.
Jen, Keith, we're hearing for the first time from Jeffrey Knight's attorney in a letter sent to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. This letter goes into detail about what happened after the crash, but makes little mention about the events leading up to the collision. Knight's attorney, J. Kevin Hazlett, says immediately after the collision, Knight directed a passenger on his boat to call 911. His attorney says Knight then tied his vessel to the ferry in order to stabilize it and render aid. Shortly after, Hazlett says Knight noticed that his boat had taken on a large amount of water and became concerned it might sink. So his attorney says Knight left the scene to get his boat out of the water after Clearwater police and ambulances arrived. The letter read in part, quote, "The uncontested facts show that Mr. Knight acted in full compliance with Florida law, rendered meaningful assistance to the ferry and its passengers, was sober and cooperative throughout, and departed the scene only after rescue efforts were underway."
Huh.
The only mention of what happened before the crash was Knight's attorney questioning whether the ferry was properly lit and if that captain had the necessary navigational awareness. At this hour, FWC says no one is facing charges, but their investigation is ongoing. Jen?
Okay, real quick, Nicole, does that attorney mention any evidence that may back the claims?
Well, this letter mentions 911 calls and eyewitnesses, but it also includes a request for FWC to preserve the GPS's data from both vessels, the radio communications, and any surveillance footage.
Time will tell. Nicole Rogers live in the Tampa newsroom for us. Thank you, Nicole.
Hey, what's up with boats tonight? Apparently, like, I'm gonna scare you guys off of being out in the water on boats. We're gonna go to Texas, where we have a deadly boat explosion. This happened earlier today.
Before we head back to Capitol Hill, we do have some breaking news out of Texas. Take a look at this. Firefighters now responding to a fatal boat fire in Texas City, Texas. And you can see that firefighters right now
Texas City, Texas? There's a Texas City, Texas?
Are using hoses to douse the smoke that's billowing out of this boat right here. As of now, no details being released. We do know that this is a fatal boat fire. However, we do not have any information in terms of how many people were on board, how many people are deceased, and how many others are injured. Also not yet known at this hour what started this fire. This just into our newsroom. This is a live look from a helicopter courtesy of KRIV out of Houston, Texas. This is specifically in Texas City, Texas, Dickinson Bayou right here. Details still scarce, but you can actually see firefighters using a heavy-duty chainsaw right there, or some sort of saw, trying to cut through the hull of the boat right here. You can see smoke still billowing as what appears to be the front of this boat, and a very heavy first responders presence right there here out of Texas City, Texas. So we're going to continue to monitor this.
Texas has a city named West, so as in West Texas. Is it in the east?
Our newsroom, you can see that firefighters continuing to douse the ship with water, as well as right now using
Yeah, that's not a chainsaw.
through the metal portion.
Those are circular saws.
Front of this boat. You can see just how heavy the damage.
You wouldn't use a chainsaw on a boat.
Of this
Igloo, welcome in.
All we know at this time is that authorities are calling this a fatal boat fire. No details in terms of how many people were on board,
Texas City, where you can go to Dyke Beach.
any additional injuries, and what started this fire. Any new information we will bring.
I finally was able to get my light to turn on. I don't know why it wouldn't earlier.
You can see about a dozen firefighters right there responding to this boat fire in Texas City, Texas. You can also see part of the dock as well charred because of that fire. So any new details, we of course will.
Yeah, this happened earlier today, about, it said 10 a.m., but I didn't see what the 11 Eastern time, it looks like. 11 o'clock Eastern time is about what time that happened today. I got another boat story for you. Apparently we've got a high-speed runaway. This is a police chase involving boats. This is a runaway boat. We're going to the Sarasota Police Department.
It'll keep spinning around in that thing now, guys.
There you see the police boat is pulled up beside it.
Alright, he's on.
Cop jumped onto the other boat.
He's on.
And was able to take control of it. Shit.
Alright, let's head over there.
This is body cam footage. I mean, that seems like fun.
Nice job, bro. Good job. Damn.
It's apparently the Sarasota Police Department or the county, Sarasota County. Yeah, there was nobody on the boat. It was just a runaway boat. So the dude apparently went overboard, Flash says. Oh, you're just guessing? This happened yesterday. I don't know if we have the whole story. The incident happened after a boatster said he went overboard after a large vessel cut in front of him in Sarasota on Monday. As the boater tried to handle the wake, he was thrown from the boat. The unmanned boat then took off and was circling at about 40 miles per hour. What did they charge the boat with? Attempts to stop the vessel's motor with tow lines were unsuccessful. Lieutenant King jumped on, was able to make the boat stop. I got another boat video for you. I got another boat video for you. Let's watch this one.
And thanks for being with us.
This is in Arizona.
Monday. We're going to take a hard turn here. Like I said, there's some major domestic headlines regarding some of these boat accidents, boat crashes. One there in Arizona, another deadly one in Florida over the weekend. Let's start, though, in Arizona. Live picture there over the Phoenix, Arizona skyline. You may have seen this dramatic video already, terrifying moments on Lake Havasu as the need for speed lifts a boat off the water, flipping high into the air. Our colleague, Fox 10 Phoenix reporter Ashley Rodriguez has that video. Let's watch.
It made an explosion sound that I can't even describe it to you other than
Lake Havasu?
Like a bomb went off.
Reaction to the 200-mile-per-hour speedboat crash on Friday at the Desert Storm race at Lake Havasu.
Havasu.
Shock. But Scott Nolan was on the water.
This boat was coming down the course very, very fast.
He was in his pontoon when it happened.
It was just the scariest thing as a boater that I've witnessed.
That's pretty cool. Got airborne.
I thought there would be no possible way that that would be a survivable accident, but from what I'm hearing, they hit the water upside down at 165.
The drivers, who wished to remain anonymous, survived, walking away with a broken collarbone, couple broken ribs, and a fractured knee.
You know, that's just how we park that thing sometimes. There's nothing you can do about it. Might have been upside down and backwards across the finish line, but we did win the event.
Freakin Racing is thankful its drivers emerged from the beat-up boat still breathing. And while some spectators say it was irresponsible, that the wind could have carried the boat into the crowds.
It's bad for the industry to have things like this happen because it just brings a downer on everything that's going on. All these people come here for a great time. Nobody wants to see a boat accident.
The video would soon go viral over the weekend, bringing attention to their 501c3 nonprofit that raises money for a variety of charities, including St. Jude's and Wounded Warriors. They went home with the prize, donating $20,000 to good causes.
The fact that it went as viral as it did really just helps us, set in stone that we're on a good mission. We're doing the right thing. There's a reason those drivers survived, and I think it's to keep going, keep moving forward, and keep raising money for charity.
Wow. Hey, girl.
And back out live there to Phoenix, Arizona.
Well, yeah. This also just breaking in the last few hours. 4 students killed after a woman drove through an after-school camp. 4 kids killed. At least this time it wasn't a school shooting, but we have somebody that's possibly drunk, maybe?
No! Tonight, new details in a small town's senseless tragedy.
They had a car run through a building, and they're saying there's quite a few people injured. The building contained children.
Police identifying 44-year-old Marianne Akers as the driver who plowed a car through the Why Not after-school camp Monday afternoon in Chatham, Illinois.
This happened yesterday.
Springfield. They say 4 students were killed, including 7-year-old Alma Bunner-Kempe. Yay! Her mom calling Alma a ray of sunshine who loved playing soccer, basketball, and doing gymnastics. While 8-year-old Ainsley Grace Johnson's dad telling NBC News her nickname was Squirt. She was larger than life and will forever leave a void.
Well, Squirt is mostly pee.
State police say 6 more kids were injured, 1 still in critical condition.
Look at these tire tracks here. According to police, Akers left the road, drove through,
literally hit the broadside of a barn,
and then crashed clear through the camp just behind me.
The back of the building had been blown out. There was insulation.
Okay, like, it's possible that this was mechanical failure. Like, the accelerator got stuck. The brakes didn't work. Something to that effect. But, like, I'm guessing she was intoxicated.
Look at these tire tracks here. According to police, Akers left the road, drove.
So you're saying Akers did her a favor, Flo?
The street here, and then crashed clear through the camp just behind me.
The back of the building had been blown out. There was insulation, debris everywhere.
Taylor Godwin lives next door and saw the aftermath.
I turned to the left, and unfortunately, there was a dead child. So
you saw a dead child?
Yes. Every single one of those families has said goodbye to their kid for the last time. Entire life just gone.
Police say it does not appear to be a target.
She fell asleep? Is that what happened?
Is not in custody as the cause of the crash remains under investigation. They're awaiting toxicology results. Until 2022, she was a food service employee at the local school district. NBC News has reached out to Akers, but has not yet heard back.
It is just horrible, Maggie. Police are still trying to nail down why this happened.
Yeah, Lester, that's exactly right. They note they're still waiting for those toxicology results. Meantime, camp organizers here note that local security cameras captured Akers driving through that field, which could be key. Meanwhile, local schools canceling in-person classes until Friday.
This is the update.
Stay updated about breaking news.
Shut up, Lester.
NBC News app.
That was the update that it happened yesterday. This was the NBC News from a couple hours ago. So I'll give you an update. We'll probably have the footage here in a day or two. Eat a dick, Lester. Okay, I got a police chase for you guys. Police chase happened last night. But I'm sorry. I was debating whether or not to do this. Gonna cut you guys off on YouTube, Facebook, all that good shit. Let me get you an animal video. We're gonna watch the police chase on Twitch alone so I can listen to music. Because I like listening to music and doing police chases. I thought I had an animal video right handy here. Fucking Lester. I mean, I'm very much a advocate for drugs and intoxicants. I highly recommend not driving. I think they're both into each other. As if a little baby kitten isn't intrusive. Tell me Goldies are intrusive. I got 3 cats on around my ankles every morning when I take a shit. That's not intrusive. Maynard doesn't sleep with me anymore. Now that I've got more furniture in here, Maynard doesn't sleep with me. It makes me sad, but like also he likes to be alone. He likes to be his own kitten. He sleeps over there in the wingback chairs. As the kitty crawls all over the doggo. Yeah, exactly. Look at this baby. Look at both these babies. Though the puppy could be on the older side. It looks like I've had enough of this shit. Cute little kitten eyes. Oh. If you're watching on YouTube, Kick, DLive, Rumble, Facebook, listen to the podcast, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol, live.